Hey, Ezebo. Ekwano, let me look forward to pin this. My okay, got it. Ekwano, compliments of the season. How have you been? I know it's been like a very long time. December got really, really busy for me. I never would have thought. But Kaiba also on the reason why we're here today. So I'm going to put a screenshot of the movie The Herd. Herd as in Herd. Herd. It's Daniel, I think Daniel F. Young. I hope I get his name right. Movie, and I saw that movie earlier this month, and I haven't seen. I want to come and talk about it, especially the Osu part of the movie. The Osu caste system is what I want to talk about. But in Magono, December just before I know, Anya Ara Google. And before we go ahead, this is EGEM, a documentary of my life journey, my life experiences, things that I learned, things that happened to me, and people I know. So I come here and I share these things for your knowledge and for the sake of prosperity. So today I want to talk about the Osu caste system in Igboland. First of all, Inanya Iga for that. This Osu thing, you might be wondering, like, I think it's very particular with in Imo State. You probably not hear any other person saying I have Osu in other Igbo states, right? Why is that? Because everybody has what they call that particular thing. Gini Busu. What is Osu? Just to use an English term, it's a priestly caste. A priest. Osu is a priest. Now let's look at the etymology of the word. Osu. Gini Busu. Su instigate, beginning, n'ihe sugo, osugo. Again, Candisia, so you know that the Igbo is dialectical, like what would be obtainable in the Anambra part is not the same that would be obtainable in Ebonyi or in Enugu or in Abia and Imo or even in the Niger in the Delta region, that's Asaba. So yes, Osu is a priestly caste, right? It has been portrayed so long for a very long time, and I know a lot of people are trying as much as they can to correct this impression. But one thing that I learned over the years about this whole thing is the dangers of a single story, like Chimamanda is said. Onye bụ ụzọ kọrọ akụkọ na-enwe akụkọ, right? So the first people or the first general or the story told about Usu was told ignorantly, was carried on ignorantly for years. Like we keep passing down this Usu thing without even knowing what it really is, right? I mean, now it has even died down a bit, but growing up, we hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, they can't marry these people because have Usu, or you can't communicate with this people, I can have Usu and all of that." So let me tell you my own knowledge and what truly Usu is. Go and verify. Jejo is so gini bụ Usu. For lack of how to say it best in English, I'm going to tell you that there are two types of Usu. Anyway, let me say the natural and artificial. I would explain. Again, it is not as it means in Igbo that it means in English. The word natural or artificial. So there is the Ndiamulu as Usu. They were born Usu. Then when they met Bulu Usu, they became Usu. How so? First of all, Guinea Usu. I have told us that Osu is a priestly caste, right? Ndobuno hawa nedokwa lusi. Ndobuno hawa can communicate beyond the physical realm, right? These are people that have the ability. I can't say that they are natural and artificial. They are people that are born that way. They have the ability to communicate beyond the physical realms of what every other person can see. They're the people that can go and tell you at one point and saying that this place, this part of the land is where we should have our market. This part of the land is where we should reverence. This part of the land is where we shouldn't do something like this too. So these are people that can see beyond. They have their sensories are beyond the five sense organs that you can see. They have the third eye, literally, right? They have the third eye. So these are the people, because of that ability to be able to decipher what the ordinary man cannot, to be able to tell what the ordinary person cannot tell. So how I can do obodo na edebe iche edekwa ha edekwa that onye abụ onye ga na-edekwa alụsị, onye abụ onye ga na-communicate, onye ga na-akala anyị ozi na mmụọ. If we need anything said that we cannot understand in our own comprehension level, we go to this person, we go to these people, these ones, and then are naturally born Osu, like Osu Habia, even Putowa, right? So these people, Kandibo Semi and Ambo, the way people behave or do things before now, these people are now special breeds. They exempt them from some kind of community work. Like it's a privilege to be an Osu before colonization came. And I'll get to the part where I said before colonization came. So they're privileged people. They don't do community work. They don't even do some kind of hard labors because, by virtue of what they carry spiritually, hmm, or beyond the physical, they already are doing a whole lot in the understanding of Onibu. So let us ease them. The community comes together and say, we're going to ease these people of some physical stress. So people go and fetch water for them. People tend to the farm. Some of them don't even farm. They might in akotubo. They bring farms produce from the farm and give to them. Like they pamper them literally. That's how they carry Osu before now. Long ago before now. That's how they carry Osu people. So Anna Pahapa, because you know that this person plays a very huge, a very critical role for the community. So like you reverence them, you like I said, they are a very highly respected and envied set of people. So India Noma, they naturally born. Because of this thing, you want to then the community try to remain like not to dent the bloodline, right? Just so that we the community continues to reproduce people that would be able to have this same capability that these people have. They don't intermarry like that. Like not like it's not a restriction, but common knowledge tells you that, oh, we don't want to soil this bloodline. We don't want to just marry anybody. We'll marry people similar to us, people that have the ability, people that can see beyond, people that know things beyond the physical realm, right? So this thing, their lineage is identically very enclosed. They're a small set of people. So because of that fear of it being distorted by marriage, because people believe that this act of marriage itself is beyond the physical, right? You're mixing blood, you're mixing lineages, you're mixing abilities, capabilities, powers, and all of that. All of those things get intertwined in marriages. So because of that, they try to make Ndiosu Ogabu a selected few people that can do something similar or have something that they can add to this bloodline that would make it superficial or make it more potent. These are the people that also marry. So before now, all privilege no soon no again, right? Then again, this is the natural Osu. The artificial Osu. Somebody that I remember I told you that these Osu people, they don't social interactions is limited, right? It's not all kind of things that every other man and woman do in the society that they do. Hannah Sonso really they have like secret things that they abhor, things that they won't do because they want to keep the sacredness of what they carry, the ability that they carry, right? So there is limitation. Then the people that I would throw artificial usu, they are people that came from as a result of war. Ibaba Analo say if something is chasing you and you run into a shrine, let me use a shrine now, right? You run into a shrine. Whoever is chasing you by understanding of Ndibu, the person cannot go further. So it's like you've run into rescue by virtue of running into a shrine. So people did that and they became Osu. That is why I said they're artificially made. People who were chased, maybe their community were at war and they lost and they were running away from being killed. They run into another community shrine or into even their own shrine and they embrace that shrine as come and rescue me, be my rescuer. I would. So by virtue of doing that, you're dedicating yourself to that Alusin, to that deity in that shrine. And say, no, haven't saved me. I'm going to serve you all my life. I'm going to continue coming here to reverence you, to honor you, to acknowledge you, and all of that. Right? Then there are also people that have committed Nswane, atrocities, taboos, and abomination that the land prohibits, some of which included that they had to be banished from a community or maybe killed, right, or thrown into the evil forest. These people also run into shrines for as a form of rescue, salvaging, and then they become Osutu. Now, here is where the whole thing got mixed up. The natural Osu and the artificial Osu, there is no separation in Igboland. Everybody was Osu. So here's the thing: Fondi Bulocho, people that committed abomination, committed atrocities, and ran into a shrine and became Osu. As a well-known family in Igbo land, you would not want your daughter or your son to marry somebody that committed an atrocity. And they may men and Igbo. Like up until now, there are things that you do in your place that if another person, another community member hear about it, they can't let you can't marry into a family. Some families like they insist that you can't marry into their family by virtue of metal, things that you don't like you did by yourself, right? So when I can do with them, we do this ijuese thing, asking questions when somebody wants to get married because you want to know the things that those people that family have done. Even on the people that there's madness in their bloodline, that's let me not deviate. So these people that became also by virtue of the things that they did or by war that they ran into another community. Remember the ones that came in from angle of war or they were being chased. They are not originally from that community that they ran into the shrine, right? So they are already not members. Bear in mind again, before now, people didn't used to intermarry like that. So if the community owners, let me say community B owners, know that this Osu guy, a D, let me call him E, this E guy has never been a member of community B. There's no family in community B that would want their daughter or their son to marry either E or his children, right? Let's even say he's a single man. There is no family in community B that want their daughter to marry that guy by virtue of Amarebusi. He came, he's a stranger to our land. Just that he ran into the rescue of our shrine and the shrine saved him. And by our understanding of it, anybody that runs into the refuge of the shrine cannot be hurt, right? So there's limitation to that. Now, years down the line, nobody knows how this started, and this guy is seen as an outcast. And the story begins to spread and spread and spread and spread, and it gets to the point where Nollywood, where Nollywood now takes that story and run along with it without knowing the origin of how it started, or this by virtue of this guy being called an outcast. It wasn't a overall and some or something. That is one case scenario. And that case scenario of somebody that committed murder, for example, it's a grave abomination in Igbo land. You wouldn't want your son or your daughter to marry from such one because ndị Igbo na-emebu before. It is now, and I like that we're beginning to change from that ideology of an Igbo onye niile. Now there is ihe onye metal. You would carry the consequences as you've done it. But before now, one person can dent an entire lineage, especially if the offense was committed against a woman. Maybe you murdered a woman or you raped a woman. It can wipe you, it can affect your entire lineage, right? So nobody, no sensible evil person will want to have anything to do with a lineage that is already dented like that by virtue of an atrocity that was committed by one of the family members. So these people too be, become Osu. Remember the artificial Usu. So these are the things that make up Usu. But primarily, before now, Usu are literally the instigators, the keepers, the intercessors, the priestly line, people that are not supposed to, they're not treated anyhow, they are reverenced, they are like idolized, so to say. You know that how powerful an Alusi is, how much more somebody that is in sync with an Alusi. Do you understand that? Do you get what it is now? So when Christianity and colonization came and the understanding and acknowledgement of the evil way of our spirituality began to become demonized, right? Usu was one of the things that became a victim of that circumstance. Became a victim of that circumstance. I think I will tell you that I think envy was also part of it because imagine being in a community that a certain type of people. You're literally serving a certain kind of people because you know how Osu. I mean, they naturally born Osu people now. You honor them. They can go to your farm and take something, and it's not stealing. You know, the community leader can just declare one day and say, "Oh, everybody's going to give them a tuber of yam." So there were people that were envious of this naturally born Usu by nature of being man. Like, why are we why are we reverent? Well, you can't say it, you can't do anything because you know Oburu ha wakele onwe ha. Like they didn't create themselves that way. It happened to them. They're literally like serving you and your community in their own way. So this is just the little you can do. So when colonization and Christianity came and all of this began to become demonized, Usu was one of the things that was part of that. Became a victim. I would say became a victim because now people now began to disassociate themselves from Alusin. Everything that had to do with Igbo spirituality, the worship of it, the acknowledgement, the rituals, and everything. Di mmadụ na-akwachapụ aka because ụka abịago, right? So with that thing of moving away totally from Igbo spirituality and ordinary omenani Igbo, the ones that are naturally born Osu, they don't have the should I say the privilege to do that. They could not just say, "Oh, I'm not doing this again," because you understand what you're doing, right? You know beyond what every other person is saying. So they became this segregation, and again, remember that there's envy beneath it, and then there was this, oh, this person cannot leave this deity, this person cannot leave this alusin. So by virtue of that, they are demons, they are witches, they are everything bad. They are the devil itself, you know. So yeah, that was really that's really what happened then. I don't know at what point this story was sold to Nollywood, but it ran along, and I want to talk about it today because in 2025 there is a beautiful movie, by the way, and we saw how the girl was treated by her in-laws because the guy married her anusu, and it just reminded me again that we still do not understand what this usu means. We still are ignorant of its origin and why it was practiced in the first place. And we're still running by the bad story because you know the danger of a single story. So ignorance is still one of the things that is being portrayed about this Osu Caste system. As it caused so many harm, misintercept, mis interpreted, as it hurts people. Yes, it has. Somebody might ask, so what's my opinion? Do I think this should come to an understanding of why is a certain thing being done, right? Why is it being done? Now there's restitution in Igboland and Abamweye. So in my opinion, those that became Osu artificially, especially from crimes that they committed or they were banished from the community, they should go and do Mbawe. They should restitute, go and seek is it readdress? I mean, what they call that? I don't know what the English term is. But they should do all of that so that they can cleanse their bloodline and they would be able to intermarry and they'll be able to communicate with members of their community like they would, like it's due to them. Then the ones that are naturally born Osu, that's oh god, Oyibo, a priestly lineage that should be preserved. Everybody should not marry Onye. See, on when the urban had on when had the photo, that thing has to be protected by all costs. They can't just marry anybody. Those ones with an explanation of it. So I'm just urging us, everyone that would probably come across this video, as you go out today, you hear that oh this person is an usu, or you even hear that you yourself, or somebody you know is an usu. Ask down to these days there are really no elders to ask because most of our old people are in church. They've been in church long before we even came to church. That is in the Canada church. So, but Alpha, go and ask, how did this person become Usu? Kadiye made that one day Usu, so that we can understand and stop acting ignorantly. Anyways, until Mbozo, I can't wait to be back here. Like this is the longest. I moved to doing shorts because okay, I do raw, but I'm so happy that I got to talk about this finally, and I will see us next time. Bye bye.